want some sound bites from the morning, yeah? So when we start, I'll throw it to you then. Welcome back, everybody. It's 2 o'clock. There was a lot of energy and good vibes here in the Energy House, of course. I hope for the people online as well. I walked around a bit myself in the building and saw various hybrid formats, people having discussions in parallel online in the rooms. It was quite interesting to see, but much more interesting is how did you like it? I still have my catch box, which I would love to send and throw into the room. So I'll just throw it in, see who catches it, and I would like to know what's the main takeaway of this morning or what you find most inspiring. Here we go. Oh, if you couldn't catch it, my apologies. Just please stand up. Introduce yourselves.
What I have to do? To talk about that? Is it this side or this side?
Yes.
Okay, so next.
No, how was the morning? How was the morning?
The morning was very good, of course, Sebastiaan. Very, very good.
What have you learned?
Oh, I learned a lot about the project, the cities, and of course to solve problems.
Okay. Well, great, very generic. Maybe somebody else wants to say something?
Yes, you.
William, please stand up. Sure. Stand up.
Hello, I'm William Veerbeek, IHE Delft. We talked a lot in our discussion about climate adaptation, actually. In the lunch break, I had an interesting discussion about politics, the role of politics. That was also important in the BEGIN project itself. We never really got to that, so that's maybe a pitch already for some of the next projects. Our relation with politics, how do we embed nature-based solutions better in politics, and yeah, how do we ensure that we get also political support and sustainability, most of all, for our projects, and not have to go left and maneuver left and right depending on political change. So that was one. I'm going to throw it there, and we do the same thing.
Okay. Well, someone's trying to catch the catch box. Thank you for this bridge, William. So. Inspiring work from the last 6 years, and also already looking forward to the challenges ahead. While people are still throwing the catch box around, I think we're good at catching. We're good at throwing, not good at catching. So that's why for the people online, you don't get anyone to stand up in this room. So thank you for that nice bridge. We want to talk about future projects, and now we're going to create them. Of course, to articulate what you really want and your needs, and find the right people. That takes time. Today is another moment where you can do this. We have invited 2 people to help us. Sophia, can I ask you, who are the 2 people we have specialists to build future projects, and then I will explain a bit how the program works in the afternoon.
So online we'll have Christian Byrith, Head of Secretariat in the Interreg North Sea region, and here on stage we have the honor to have Albin Hunia from the Dutch government and expert in European programs. And
thank you.
Yeah.
And how this will work? We'll first get presentations from the 2 gentlemen about European funding opportunities. Then we'll have at this table here, we'll have project pitches, people that have ideas for new projects or would like to work with you. They will pitch it, and the people online can still comment on that. After each pitch, we will ask the experts what they think of this idea, or they can give some advice. That's also in general their task. So for the rest of the afternoon, you can always go to Albin. Also, I would like to ask Jenny Thompson if she could stand up and she get the camera. She's from the North Sea Region Secretariat. She's also project advisor. So if you want to have any things, she will reflect later on this afternoon on what she's heard. Maybe on, if what has not been said yet, some last advice for the program, but also on the project pitches you've heard and the discussion. So thank you for coming over. So that's how that will work. Maybe online, some reflection on this morning, or questions before we start? Sophia?
Just a few things, especially for the people online. One thing for the technical people on the backstage, there is a little bit of echo, so please try to see this. Also, well, for everybody, you know that we're using the network app. So we will have this open for another month. So you can meet each other there, especially the people online, and you can have the opportunity to interact with each other. So yeah, just bear in mind in that, and please use it. It's a great tool. You can chat directly with everybody, and then they can receive emails in their account. So it will be a nice interaction. And yeah, back to you.
And who will be the first one speaking?
We'll have online Christian Byrith.
Yes.
Christian.
Yeah.
Hello, welcome.
Thank you very much. And do you want me to start now, or?
Maybe a quick reflection from the program. So this was funded by you, both this project as this conference. Thank you for your support. Any reflections from you on this particular project or conference for what you've seen or heard?
Well, I have to say, if I look back at the BEGIN project, it's just, first and foremost, a really well-run project. It's a project which has managed to get all kinds of stakeholders on board and actually encourage them to cooperate with each other and to make co-creation and blue-green infrastructure pilots. I think this thing with the pilots is, and that's also for the future, I think that's key. Because you say that the proof of the pie is in the eating, but the fact that you actually have pilots is the proof of the pie. Because we have many projects. We had projects over the years with lots of good intentions, but not a lot of action on the ground, and it's always a little bit less convincing than when you actually have pilot projects where you show what it is you want to do.
Thank you, Christian. Just for you, a little bit of in our own interest. BEGIN has been nominated as Best European Project out of thousands, top 5 for Green Europe. So there's a website, regiostars.eu. You can vote for a project, and then this would actually be the best European project. So thank you for Interreg supporting us. And I think all the cities involved have actually mobilized a total of hundreds of millions of euros in investment. So they actually did it on the ground. Anyway, but that's on this project. Towards the future, Christian. What does the future have in store? You're the head of the program, and you're coming up with a new program. So,
I am indeed. But before I get to that, I would just say that you can actually vote every day for the Regio Stars. So that's really good. So please don't hold back. Now, in terms of the new program, we've been working on it for more than a year now, and I'm very happy to say that we have a program. It's now undergoing internal consultation in the ministries. We expect that to be done at some point here in December, and then submit the new program to the Commission in January. That's the idea. Of course, many things can happen, but that's what we're working on at the moment. As you know, probably all of you, we've got a new geography. We have the UK decided to leave the program, which is really sad, because we will be missing a lot of the UK project people. They have been really, really good and helped a lot in generating good projects. I wouldn't say as a replacement, but as an addition to the remaining part of the program, we have new Dutch provinces, we have similar provinces in Flanders, and we have 3 new French provinces, which are going to participate in the new program. We are very much looking forward to have them on board and to see what the future will bring. Now, in terms of what we're going to do, we will be operating with 4 different priorities. There's priority 1 on robust and smart economies. This is about research and innovation, that kind of thing, smart specialization. We have green transition, about energy efficiency, renewable energy, smart energy, circular economy, and also something on multimodal urban mobility. We have climate resilience in priority 3, about climate adaptation, risk and disaster, pollution, biodiversity, and the lot. And then we have one which is an interesting new invention. It's about priority 4, it's about better governance. If I'm to say, I can best explain it by using an example, and that is if you go for spatial planning, it is quite obvious that you need to have a cooperation between the countries. If you look at the sea territory, it doesn't really work that the shipping route in one country ends up in a windmill park in the next country. So that's why cooperation on spatial government and also better governance could be very interesting. Now, in terms of the admin bit, which is my old regime, we try to change as little as possible. So if you are familiar with how we do things in the current period, then you will also be familiar with things, how we're going to make things in the new period. We will only take away what doesn't work, so it's going to be quite sparse and limited. We are doing our very best to harmonize and cooperate with other programs on this, and I think we're making a lot of progress on it. Now, in terms of the kind of projects we're looking for, well, we have two main groups of projects. We have small-scale projects, which is up to and not exceeding a lot, 500,000 euros, running for about 18 months, and with minimum of 3 countries participating. We have the regular projects, which is, look at Begin and you know what we're talking about. 8 to 15 partners. I know you have a bit more in Begin, but still. Again, minimum of 3 countries, but then again, you need to have more because otherwise you will never get approved. 3 to 5 years and a budget of 2 to 6 million. But these boundaries are flexible. So if you have a good idea, that's what counts. Now we're going to have some webinars to help you get ready for this. And we have a number, actually 4 here in November. We have one on the 1st of November on soft launch and partnership rules. The 2nd of November on project expenditure. We have the 8th of November on project goals and the indicators, and then we have the 10th of November small-scale projects. And then, of course, we have our annual conference, which is taking place in week 47. That's from the 23rd to the 25th of November. And but it's actually already closed we're simply full. There's been an enormous interest, but yeah, it was important for me to tell you that it was there. Anyway, we will be opening the first call in December, and we will be opening it for regular projects, and this means expressions of interest and full applications. We also will be opening it for small-scale projects, and you would note that actually we open the call before we have an approved program. So that's something to be taken into account. But we're happy to tell you more about that at our webinars and also on our website.
Thank you very much, Christian. First, I want to make you a compliment because we work with multiple European programs, and I have to say that the North Sea region is one of the smoothest to work with and to operate with, so compliments for that. So if you learn from other programs, great. I also hope they learn from you. And compliments on increasing the funding rate, which I understand will go from 50 to 60%. Anyway, before we go to the audience, we also have Albin Hunia here from the Dutch Ministry of Economic Affairs, national contact point and advisor with colleagues to people that want to develop projects on, among other things, also other programs, and also from other countries. So, Albin, what can you add to Christian's address?
Usually not so much, but I will try anyway. Good afternoon, everyone. Can you see this slide that is up? I don't know what you see and what I see. Anyway, RVO, Rijksdienst voor Ondernemend Nederland, National Agency for Entrepreneurs. I'm a member of a small team within this huge organization that does Interreg, the 3 programs that are under the responsibility of the Ministry of Infrastructure and Water Management. And we do that for them on the central government level, together with the regions. I need to stress that. Our role is to coordinate with the regions our discussions in the monitoring committees regarding how the programs go and which projects, according to the Netherlands, fit into, for example, the North Sea Region Interreg program. That's one role. The other role is that of national contact point, and then I'm here sitting in that responsibility, which is to help Dutch organizations participate as much as possible and as best as possible within these Interreg programs. And of course, because I do this in a team with Interreg Northwest Europe, the other transnational program for the Netherlands, and Interreg Europe, the policy instruments program, I'm able to look over borders. Of course, Interreg North Sea region is the best Interreg program. We all know that, but I work together with my colleagues closely. And in terms of geography or themes that Christian just touched upon, in a very early stage of a project idea, there's still room to maneuver, to think, would it fit Northwest Europe? Would it fit North Sea region? Scandinavian partners very much involved, marine topics, climate adaptation very much. Maybe a North Sea region project. Or, what kind of project are we talking about? Is it maybe lower technology readiness levels? Should I take you to my colleagues of Horizon Europe, or maybe LIFE? Maybe it's a little bit too much ecology oriented. We have this, I think, synergies now better organized than we did before within our organization. But even more important to stress is that I am the national contact point for Interreg North Sea region in the Netherlands, but of course we work together with the other contact points. Flanders, Germany, Denmark is taken care of by the Secretariat, Norway, Sweden, and we welcome the newcomers from northern France. If I am advising you on a project idea, and I'd love to do that, so please come networking afterwards, I will not be doing that just alone, not just on behalf of the Netherlands. We are working together, and we are all trying to make this a successful transnational project. I'm pushing a button, I don't know what's going to happen. Can you show the next slide, please? And click one more, perhaps. Because you all know what that is. A snelkookpan pressure cooker. My role is there to, together with advisors, together with the officers from the program secretariat, to guide you into this pressure cooker that an Interreg project is. Because this picture has helped me a lot in the last month to try to explain what an Interreg project is. I would all challenge you to pitch what is Interreg to your neighbors or mother-in-law or whatever. I found it's not always easy. A pressure cooker, that image works because you get into there with a group of international, transnational partners that think will complement you trying to solve a transnational riddle. You sit in there, you committed to sit in that pressure cooker until after 3 years, maybe some extension, the lid goes off, and you have something ready. Something that you would not have had ready if you would have been doing it on your own. And that's a unique quality of an Interreg program and the project opportunities that it offers.
Thank you, Albin. After this introduction, I told you we're going to build projects, but before we go into new projects, people have generic questions about programs and funding opportunities. Maybe first in the room. Who has the catch box? You. Would you have a question as well? No? You want to throw it?
Yeah.
Anyone wants to catch it? Not yet? Okay. Sophia, any questions online for the both speakers?
We don't have a question, but we're having Richard Ashley saying that goodbye and good luck, mes amis, in French. So he's from the UK. But I would say this is an opportunity to find ways also to include UK, maybe not in the next Interreg North Sea region, but the next session here will try to create collaboration, so from the UK, from everywhere, and the next programs, hopefully they will also include them, so yeah.
Before we go to the pitches, Christian, any advice for people who want to start building projects? Yeah. What makes a good project in your eyes?
Well, in terms, there are two questions really. One is, any advice on who to approach. I think Albin started by pointing towards the contact points. I think that's a really good idea. And I would also like to point in the direction of my colleague, Jenny, who's with you today physically, because, you know, one thing is people like me who know, shall we say, the overall picture, but those who actually know what's happening on the ground is people like Jenny. And they will be able to help you a lot when you have weird and wonderful questions. And don't be afraid of asking a question where you might think it's maybe a little bit silly or I should have known that, because they're very patient people and they are always willing to help you and rather ask one question too many than one too little. Yeah. Now, in terms of what I think is really important when you think about your idea, I think it's really important that you do not start from scratch. You actually build on something else. That's one of the things that BEGIN project has been really good at. But you build on something which already is there. It could be other projects, it could be all sorts of things, particular expertise in your area. But then I also think it's important that you do not just see it as in this case, a North Sea program. Albin was touching a little bit on it, but maybe seeing it as something which could be part of a bigger picture. For example, a combination of a North Sea program with a Horizon project, or a similar project in the Northwest Europe program to get a bigger impact. Because strictly speaking, the amount of money we're talking about here in our programs, they're not particularly big. You're not going to end world hunger with the amount we can help you with, but you might actually be able to take some significant steps if you combine it with other sources of funding. And I think that would be really cool if we could get a lot of projects doing that.
Thank you, Christian. Well, may I invite you both to stay here? We go to the pitches. I'll ask Sophie to introduce them, and then you can reflect on what you hear, if that's a good idea, what would be a good step for them to take, and I think the people like Albin and Jenny can help there. Sophia, who volunteered, because when you registered for this conference, you were asked, would you like to pitch something? So we have selected a few.
So our first speaker here is Dana Huibers from the City of Dordrecht. So we would like to invite Dana on stage and to tell us more about their project.
Is it on? Yes. For the slides, can I use the...
Maybe you can use this on the green button or ask for the next slide.
Okay. Well, hi everyone. Very nice to see and meet you all, like online and here in person. My name is Dana Huibers, and I'm a policy advisor on water and climate at the municipality of Dordrecht. And today I will be pitching the Liveable Cities project idea. In Dordrecht, as has already been shown and seen today, we work with a green and blue vision. We want to make Dordrecht even better livable, as we want everybody to have access to nature and for nature to thrive. And we do this by making Dordrecht greener and bluer by means of adding more nature and water. And in that way, we improve the well-being of the people of Dordrecht, while at the same time we make the city more climate adaptive and we help nature. And the Liveable Cities project also falls within this green-blue vision, and we would like to submit it for the next Interreg North Sea region call for projects. And as Dordrecht, we have an extensive experience on working with EU projects. We have been involved in 3 Interreg North Sea region projects already, namely Mare, Camino, and also of the conference we're attending today, BEGIN. And we have been involved in Age 2020 and LIFE project, and all these projects have been on resilience, climate adaptation, urban regeneration, and social innovation. And a few examples of big urban transformation projects we are working and thinking on in Dordrecht are the Dordwijkzone, where we try to combine recreation, climate adaptation, and biodiversity to create a healthier living environment. The Spoorzone, where we think about mobility, climate, and health in an integrated way. And already mentioned the Start Island, where we use water as a guiding principle to create a healthier and greener living environment, while at the same time use the island as a way to, for housing purposes, and potentially also as a shelter in case of water crises. And with the Liveable Cities project, we would really like to work within these big urban transformation projects and really focus on creating high quality green and blue spaces that both bring nature to people, but also people to nature. And for that, we would really like, we're looking for partners to really want to learn and work together. So I would very much like to invite everyone who is working or interested in the same field of expertise, who is facing similar challenges and has similar ambitions to come talk to us. So please ask your questions to me or any of my colleagues. And that was it. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dana. So this conference is called Liveable Cities. So not surprising, you launch a project called Liveable Cities. So and that's then the next level for you, I assume. Thank you. Maybe first in the room or online, are there any people interested? Or if you can check that, meanwhile, ask Albin, any reflection on this project idea?
Of course. Thank you very much. Very concise presentation. I think you've listened well to Christian's advice to, well, very much consider what went before, and of course you as Dordrecht went before. You have a lot of experience, not just doing EU projects, which is a sort of sport that you have to get into as well, but working on the topics you want to continue in the Liveable Cities project. And then the question is, the big what is next? What is the next thing you need to achieve in this project you propose? And well, if there's no clear answer yet, but because your next thing might be different from the questions that potential partners might ask, but I think that should be central. What needs to be done in the project? Okay, do you have an idea already?
Yes, I would say that the next step is really, we are having these like big urban transformations by adding green and blue, but the next step is also to really have high quality spaces, to think about the biodiversity, think about what it can do for people, how we can bring it to people. And I think that would really be the next step within this project to achieve.
And do you have a picture already? Who needs to be doing something? Which stakeholders are involved in this process?
Well, we have already a group of core partners, cities that we're working with. But I think what we also would really like is knowledge institutions, also on biodiversity, ecology, planning on how a space like that should look. Yeah. So I think that's something, network partners to even expand and make the project even bigger. So that's really what we're looking for.
Thank you both. Sophia, first of all, online, any people interested in this idea?
I'm sure they are, but they are a little bit shy. But I would say people online to go to Network app and talk to Dana, or also Ellen Kelder, find them online, and arrange a meeting with them to talk about this project. So. Yeah.
Anybody here wants to comment, interested in this project idea? Still nobody wants to? There's someone wants to catch, so someone can throw.
Yeah, thank you. It's Jannes Willems again, University of Amsterdam. How does your project relate to densification and urbanization? Because what we see is, despite all the good intentions for creating more green spaces, the cities are becoming more urbanized, actually. A recent study, for example, showed that Brussels and Amsterdam have become much more paved because of urbanization processes. So how does your project relate to that, and how can you sort of prevent that from happening?
Yes, that's a very good question. I think I would also like to ask my colleagues if they have anything to add on what I'm saying. But I think, for example, the example that it made me think of is the Start that I was talking about, which is like now a very industrial area that we really want to use also for housing purposes, but at the same time take all the other aspects with it. So like take water as the guiding principle because it can be used as a shelter, but also use the green that is already there and yeah, make it better and make it thrive. So it's really the integrated approach of combining all those aspects when you're building new places.
Okay, thank you for this. I also thank you, Jannes Willems of the University of Amsterdam, because these type of questions make project ideas better. So they make them sharper. It's like, hey, have you thought of that? So that makes your project better. Thank you for this. We will go to the next project idea, Sophia.
Thanks.
Thank you, Dana.
I will invite Stevie Swenne from the Flanders Environment Agency.
All right, thank you very much. So my name is Stevie Swenne. I'm working for Flanders government, for Flanders Environment Agency. And I was asked, they said, do you have any idea? Yeah, we have a lot of ideas sometimes, but we're not sure whether we can actually make a project out of it. However, let's just give it a try. The project I'm introducing, will this be working or just go to the next one? Here you go. Yes, so introduce yourself, that was the first question. So my name is Stevie Swenne, I'm still single, but I managed to have a cat, so it's probably not because of me. I work for the Environment Agency, so what do? We do everything related to water. So water quantity, water quality, air quality, and climate adaptation is part of our day-to-day work. How does that relate to what is Flanders like? Well, Flanders is like the big region on top of the cities, let's say. So it's more or less like 6 million people living there, which is basically the size of Denmark. So we feel confident to say that we are a region, yes. So what do? Well, I'm responsible for everything which is related to international cooperation. I've been doing it already for quite some time. I know many of the people actually already here today. Can I just move a little bit quicker to here? I'm getting older, so I probably have my eyes checked. What do I do also? Well, we're trying to work out services, new projects, new products. This is part of our new task within the organization, so to say. So what do? Well, we work on new project ideas. We already have a number of them, which we are trying to look into. Basically, we are working towards, for example, a mitten crab project, which I'm not going to introduce here, but if you know what a mitten crab is, or a wolhand crab, we're still looking for some partners there as well. I think maybe, that one, yeah. I noticed actually some people from Hamburg here, so maybe you also, I'm actually quite convinced you also have an issue with the mitten crab at some point. So actually, if you would like to work on that, to come back to me. During this conference, I also feel that we might need to do something about wetlands. I think there's a big potential to do something about wetlands, either in a rural context, maybe, because they have a very big potential for us in Flanders. We're one of the most southernmost regions. Now we have France, of course, but we know drought is for us a bit of a bigger challenge than more up north in the North Sea region. So this is also something which we like to work with. However, what I'm trying to now briefly will introduce here is a project which is slightly different. And there are a number of trends which we can see. That is, for example, the importance of climate change. Here we see those people coming on the street, the young people being present, saying we have to do something about it. At the same time, we also have some technological developments which we cannot overlook. Like, for example, we now have digital twins, we have smart cities, we have Internet of Things, everything is talking to each other. That's how it works. And at the same time, people want to be involved, want to be part of the solution. So what we are trying to do is try to facilitate the interaction between those three trends that we have. And digitalization can actually try to provide answers on a number of these issues, bridging the gap really. Why do we do that? Well, because we see that sometimes, time's up, but I just need one more second. Sometimes people would like to know how they actually contribute. People would like to know what is the added value of me having 1 tree extra in my garden. And then they go to their local mayor or the local alderman and they say, I don't know. They come back to us, they say, we don't know. It might not be possible to know that exactly, but I think we should at least try to give it a try, trying to quantify what the aspect or the impact is of very small scale measures. And we believe that at some point, sensors, local citizen science projects, maybe whatever data there is available up until now can actually provide part of the answer. So what we're going to try to do is maybe interested in working on a project bridging the data gap. We know there are a number of gaps which we can use. Some of the data is just in a cloud at some point. But what can we do with it? There's also what kind of solution can we get out of it, and then try to make sure and how we can get the community involved and how can we get governance involved in that. So what I'm looking for is actually, yeah, maybe you, I don't know, I haven't really set up a partnership yet, but maybe you have an interesting idea for a local citizen science project, trying to gather a lot of data at a local scale, and you want to get something out of it. And maybe you're from the other way around and say, oh, we're a big government organization, we want to work with satellite data because we want to do something and measure how effective our measure in that area actually is. So it's trying to bring all those these puzzle pieces, is that a word? Pieces of the puzzle, try to bring them together and see if we can maybe make a nice project out of it, I don't know.
Thank you very much, Stevie. So Stevie looks for partners in his project. He's also still single, so I think you can take both angles. So we know each other well. Is there anybody here interested in greening internet project? Anybody wants to respond? There is another speaker about digital twins for green areas today, so I think you would definitely have to meet up. Anyone? Sophia? Online? Not yet? Then I've
Not yet, no.
Christian from the Secretariat online. You must know the Flanders Environment Agency well. Any reflections on this?
I think it sounds like a really interesting idea, and it fits right in with one of our. I didn't mention them in my presentation before because of time constraints, but we have something called a spotlight theme, which is about digitalization. It's a theme that can be used in wherever, on whatever priority you decide to apply, and digitalization, you know. What you're proposing here fits right into that, so it's clearly a plus on that side. I think if I'm to give any advice at all, I think it's important that you do not just stop with the, shall we say, the data gathering, but that you also have some kind of examples of what you intend to use them for. You just mentioned briefly a little bit about what does it mean if I have another tree in my garden and so forth. But if you can actually show that this solves a problem somewhere, then I think you'll have a much bigger chance of being approved, to be honest. Because what sometimes, you know, sometimes when we hear the committees, they think, yeah, but it's a good idea, but does it lead to anything? And we need to be able to, in a project, to demonstrate this actually leads something. This makes a difference to some tangible people, real people on the street, basically, or real organizations, at least not on the street, but in the buildings. But I think that would be my most sort of my biggest advice really to this, because it sounds like a really interesting project.
Thank you, Christian. Albin, you were nodding heavily.
Yeah, this is of course good advice by Christian, and I think what you would have to consider is supply and demand. You are very much in the supply of solutions, and you have a very large scope of ideas. But now you have to look for the demand of your ideas. I think that's good, and then you need these people and a lot of talking to us and the officers from the program Secretariat to help you with that.
Thank you, Stevie.
Thank you.
Sophia, who's next, or questions online, either way?
I asked online if who is interested, so let's wait for that. And yeah, we'll go to our next guest, which is Gisela Garrido Veron. Yeah, she's here. So she's from ISOCARP Institute, and yeah, Gisela, let us know about your project idea.
Hi everyone, thank you for organizing this and for giving the opportunity to give this small pitch. So my name is Gisela Garrido. I'm here with some colleagues from ISOCARP Institute as well. So we're going to be pitching a little bit about what we have been working throughout this summer and actually like these last weeks as well. It's a Horizon Europe call. Probably you know about it because it's about nature-based solutions. It's Communities 1.5. Maybe we can go to the next slide. yes, as you see, well, ISOCARP Institute is a quite international organization. Here my colleagues Mary and Jonathan are here, so for later you can also talk to them about this project. Yes, we have also different expertise, so we want to we want to include all these type of backgrounds within these nature-based solutions. Now we had seen this morning actually how important it is to bring up different inputs from different disciplines. So this is a very good example that we can also do that as well. Next slide, please. So a little bit about ISOCARP Institute, for those that don't know. ISOCARP is quite a well-known organization. It's the International Society of City and Regional Planners. Was established in 1965, and the ISOCARP Institute is actually kind of like a startup. We started in 2016, and we are kind of like a research think tank, more of a practice-based organization. So we support mainly international projects, mainly European projects, but we have been working also with non-EU projects like for example, in Ecuador and a little bit outside, but we're still trying to develop this a little bit further. But yeah, we have some experience in bringing this professional experience, this urban excellence through trainings, capacity development. We are very keen in increasing awareness. So most of the projects we have, you can go to the next slide, please, are mostly related to communication and dissemination. So as you see here, we have some little examples about some EU projects we have, of some Horizon 2020 projects. But next slide, please. So the idea here is that we are organizing, following also from the previous Horizon 2020 projects we have that are also about nature-based solutions. We are creating a consortium to apply for this Communities 1.5 call, which is assessing the social politics of nature-based solutions for more inclusive and resilient communities. We have seen that in the past 7 years, the European Union gave funding for this more innovation, more infrastructure of nature-based solutions, and now it's important to assess this type of nature-based solutions. So we thought, okay, we are gonna gather again with all these partners that we had from nature-based solutions projects to try to actually assess this. Now, so overall, the idea is still very preliminary. The deadline for this call is February next year. But the overall objective would be the assessment of these governance of nature-based solutions using these partnerships, public administration, citizen participation. But we really want to give a strong focus to the urban health and the citizen resilience. So we have a very important partner within our consortium that can actually bring this expertise. No? We have seen this morning, health is important. It's actually like a very good bridge to include this infrastructure, this green, green-blue. So what we are looking for is in the next slide. We're looking for a potential coordinator as well. We are very motivated, but unfortunately we don't have the capacity to coordinate. We are also looking for governance actors or organizations that are very keen into assessing governance, especially e-governance. No? Like the European Union really values this. We are also looking for universities with strong linkages with cities. We want to make sure that cities can learn from these research organizations. And of course, Eastern European representation. It's crucial for us. So in the next slide, you can contact us. You can contact me as well. But you have seen the pictures of my colleagues as well. So thank you.
Thank you very much. Stay here for a moment. Because it's an Horizon, I'm happy that you also come up with a different program. I would like to have Albin. We actually advise on various programs. Any reflections on what you've heard?
Of course, I'm not going to advise you on the Horizon project, but there are ingredients enough to build on an Interreg project. Of course, you need a complementary group of partners, including a coordinator, to pick up what you have to offer in such a partnership. Assessing nature-based solutions, it's always where are we now, what worked, what didn't work, what should be improved, and then continue until upscale this. I think the next 7 years will be very much about upscaling solutions, because we've learned so much, we know so much, not really off-the-shelf. Nature-based solutions are almost off-the-shelf, but we need to discover a lot of things, but we need to start implementing them as well. So some assessment stage somewhere in between, very necessary, and if you could provide those services, very important. And the other thing that struck me was communication and dissemination, and maybe education. You have a lot of experience in that. Interesting there also is, disseminating is always like seeding, but it's always interesting to know what actually germinates, what grows up. Do you have experience with that as well?
In view of, I'm sorry, very good reflections.
Yeah.
I would say you continue over coffee after this, because otherwise we have...
yeah, we would really love to know that,
So I would like to ask Sophia for the next pitch, and also for the ones who are pitching, there's actually a time clock for us. We're a very professional organization, not us, but other people. So if you see those clock, please be reminded of that.
Thanks.
Next week, thank you.
Thank you, Gisela. Our next guest is Erwin Vonk from Stella Spark. A bit of a different pitch as well, so we look forward to inspire us. So, thank you.
All right, test, yes. Green button.
You can see it in front of you.
And it is moving. All right, hello everybody. My name is Erwin Vonk. And today I want to talk to you about an idea, which is to use digital twin technology to more effectively co-create urban green-blue solutions. And, well, first a little bit about myself. Or not?
There it is.
Oh, there we are, yes. So I am founder of a startup called Stella Spark. And what Stella Spark is focused on is so-called digital twin technology. More about that in a moment. But it's really about integrating real-time data to be able to do simulations on that data. And so I'm heavily invested in data engineering, you can say. Before this, I actually have a background in civil engineering and hydroinformatics, which is also on that interface of IT and water. And I have to admit that my kind of professional obsession is how to lower the cost of decision making. I think that is really important, and actually that question should be more sharp. Is like, how can we lower the cost of high quality decision making? And I think that is what digital twin technology in the end is all about. The platform that Stella Spark develops is Nexus, but well, there are more digital twin platforms and software out there. But essentially what they all have in common is that you take a piece of the real world, which can be a municipality, can be a neighborhood or a complete country, and you try to create a digital clone of that area, and you keep that clone up to date with the real world. So whenever a new building gets built in the real world, it also changes in your digital representation. And then once you have that, you can do a lot of interesting things with this digital model. You can do interactive simulations together with citizens, for example. You can do operational forecasting of several technical things. And what it essentially does by integrating all the data is lowering the cost of communication between an advisor and someone who uses that information to take decisions. So here's the idea. What if we could use digital twin technology to effectively co-create blue-green infrastructure together with citizens? So imagine that you create this digital clone of, let's say, a neighborhood in a city. You allow during participation sessions that citizens draw their own solutions on the map, enter some key parameters of those solutions. For example, what type of vegetation will be grown there, or how tall a certain structure will be, what certain capacities will be like. You hit a calculate button, and more or less instantly you get an estimation of the effects of such a measure. I think that would really allow you as a government to more or less directly work together with citizens in exploring different blue-green options.
Erwin, what are you looking for?
What I'm looking for, that's my last slide. is on one hand a municipality who says, well, we really want to work together with citizens. I think that's a very important attitude that is necessary for this to work. On the other hand, I'm also looking for academics, researchers, engineers who say, well, I have interesting scripts or calculation models that can be used to quantify the effects of certain blue-green interventions in cities, but I'm looking for a way to run that in the cloud and to really have it being used in practice. And my idea would be to set up 1 or perhaps 2 pilots to really work this out in reality and test how it works. So that's it. You can reach me through these details. Thank you.
Thank you very much. So we don't have that much time, so we're not going to reflect on your idea, but it's very clear what you look for. I think it's interesting. It's not necessarily a project idea, but you're looking for cities, you're looking for researchers. They can work with you either in a European project or directly with you. So you have a great audience for the coming hour or so. Thank you very much. Right. And then I'll ask Sophia, who's the next pitch?
We have the Roy Remme from the University of Leiden. Is not here with us, so we're just gonna share a bit her ideas, like quickly. So I will ask the production to put their slides on. Maybe we have some representatives, some PhD candidates from the University of Leiden with us. So maybe you can refer to them later. So yeah, I will just go through it quickly. I will show you the details and what they look for, so you can like contact them as well. So if you can go to the next slide, please. So this is an idea to create a new project, and it's about greening, and especially on private spaces. If you can move forward, like in the next one. So yeah, how we can utilize these outdoor spaces, maybe the rooftop, like spaces are not that the city can use it, how you can create collaborations with them and face the common challenges. And I will just jump to the last slide a bit. And this is what they look for. So they look for collaborations with universities, research institutes. I don't see very well up to there, but you can read it, I guess, better than me. So yeah, it's an open call to contact the University of Leiden, explore a collaboration with them, and we will share their contact details, and you can pick it up afterwards. So yeah, we won't have them with us, and then I will go then to the final candidate. So I would invite Stanford Wilson from Rijkswaterstaat to share a pitch with us.
Rijkswaterstaat is the Dutch government, the Ministry of Infrastructure and Water, and especially the executive branch. Welcome.
Yeah. Absolutely. Hi, good afternoon, everyone. I am filling in here for another colleague. At Rijkswaterstaat, we are, as it has just been mentioned, we're the government agency that's responsible for infrastructure and water management. I am an advisor at the Department for Flood Risk Management, and I have a few colleagues here. In terms of project ID, I'm going to build a little bit on what has been said by Christian and a couple of other people here. Rijkswaterstaat has been project leader for quite a few Interreg projects, and one of these big projects that we would like to build on is a project that's called Building with Nature. I hope that most of you know about it. What we would like to do in this project is Building with Nature as a means of working has been established. Scientists and a lot of people who sit here, they're all what I call believers. And we would like to move to the next level, and that is looking at means of mainstreaming this knowledge that has been generated. We, as an agency, we look bigger than at cities. We look at system-wide means of implementing these kind of measures. And what I am looking at specifically is how you can upscale nature-based solutions in river systems, so big system-wide. At this point, we are just in the idea phase. We've written up a small proposal about what we'd like to do and whether we are going to do it in the North Sea program or in another program that has not fully been established. But what I'd like to set out here is the fact that we're looking for potential partners who are interested in that idea of moving past just pilots that have already been established, and who are looking at how can we do this in real life? How can we, for example, get decision makers to reach the point where when they have to make a decision between this is a regular gray manner of how we do things, to also consider a nature-based solution as an alternative. How can we get our procurement departments to reach the point where when you're putting numbers next to each other that you can really think, this is also an option that I should weigh just as heavy as the regular means of how I normally do stuff for big projects. So that is the point that we are at. If you would like to discuss this further, I will be walking around here. Thank you.
Thank you, Stanford. Christian, may I ask you to reflect? Rijkswaterstaat is a very experienced partner, of course, also the project Stanford referred to. Your experience and advice on this embryonic idea, but based on a previous project.
I think it sounds really good. And I like the fact that it is actually building on the Building with Nature project, which has been operating in our program for quite some time. I do like the fact that you take things to the next level, and you, as Rijkswaterstaat, you have the resources to actually make things happen in a much bigger scale than most other partners have. So it could be really interesting if you could make some kind of cooperation, both with people or partners your own size, but also to take on some smaller partners in the partnership. That could be really interesting and a very strong project, I think.
Thank you, Christian. Sophia, any comments online on any of the project ideas?
We have a lot of interest, no comments, but people asking for your names and your emails and the presentation, so we'll make sure this happens, so we have this interaction. So.
In the room, in the energy building, is the energy going down? Nobody wants to jump on Stanford? No, not yet. Albin, some final reflection from you, and then I will close the pitch session.
Yeah, well, very short. So I think next level would be nature-based solutions. Who takes the decisions implementing these? And how do you convince them to throw nature-based solutions in the mix above the typical grey solutions? So let's talk about that. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. This was just a tip of the iceberg, of course. There's all the people in the room have experience in European projects and are probably interested in new ones. Thank you for those who actually took the stage, because we're in an early stage. I just discussed this with Jenny, who I encourage you again to talk to. There'll be many conferences. The North Sea region has conferences. There are other European programs that have conferences. And you will meet people and typically articulate and shape your partnerships over the course of time. This day just contributes. And right now, for the ones who are in the room, we'll actually sit together and discuss this and other ideas. So for the people online, this will be the end of the day for you. And we'll also leave this room with kind of this talk show. Thanks again for bearing with us, because this is also kind of special for us to be in some sort of TV studio-like setting. Thank you, Christian, also for you were happy to join, but I think it doesn't really make sense, because some points the online connection disappears, but Christian can take your answers and their colleagues either directly or in the network app. Albin is also walking around, and they're also in the network app. So thank you for those people online. Hope to see you soon wherever. And with this, I would like to close the online program, unless, Sophia, I'm missing anything.
I'm just saying goodbye to everybody for the chat.
So. Good. Yep. Okay, so thank you, goodbye online, wherever the camera is. So can everybody wave, please, to our online people? So we have 100 people or more waving at 200 others. Thank you. So with that, it's also my job becomes easier, because I can start walking around again. For us, where we will go is across the restaurant where we have coffee. That's very convenient, because you can have coffee in the meantime and in the breaks. It's also easy for you to find. It's a more informal space. What we have asked the people from the workshops were meant this morning also to discuss the next level, and our idea of next level from nature-based solutions is also from nature-based solutions to health, from nature-based solutions to people and society, climate adaptation, all these links. So those topics will be on the table, what was been discussed this morning as a kind of a Kickstarter. The people that have pitched are there, but I know from others that also have project ideas. So you can go to such tables, you can also just freely network. And you now know who are the important people you should really reach out to. So I don't think we have much other things to say, Sophia?
No, we will have
what is important? Yeah.
We'll have a quick coffee break until 3:30. So yeah, then
so now is the coffee break, so you
we'll
can
have time for reorganization.
And we will close the entire day for the ones who are here at we do at 4:30, 16:30. We'll be back. We get reflections from Jenny. She will reflect on what's first of all some additional information about the North Sea region program and some really takeaway message if you're building a project. She will also reflect on your discussions the coming hour, what project ideas we heard, and I will ask for some sound bites. So you are not catching and throwing the box anymore. I won't accept that. So I will just walk up to you. So if you don't throw and catch, then you just get me grabbing you by your sleeves. Okay. So that's how the afternoon will look like. Free to go downstairs to the coffee area. Right across the hall will be the workshop. Thank you very much.
Thanks.